One of the unintended but welcomed effects of tragedies and crises whenever they occur is that it often brings people together. There's a unifying effect that it brings about. We've seen that in acts of war, in terrorist attacks, natural disasters. People join together, stand up together in unison, and condemn what's happening, and take action, strong action, to prevent it from happening again. It takes a certain amount of cynicism and really defying common decency for anyone or any group to try to exploit and take advantage of a crisis for their own personal or partisan gain. Unfortunately, I fear that that may be what's happening with the 2 Trump assassination attempts that we've recently seen.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Well, it's been a great experience. It's a dangerous business, however, being president. It's a little bit dangerous. It's, they think race car driving is dangerous. No. They think bull riding, that's pretty scary, right? No. This is a dangerous business, and we have to keep it safe.
Mr. President, I don't think there's a person, certainly in this room tonight, and probably anywhere in the country, that doesn't remember exactly where they were on July 13th, that Saturday, when a horrific thing happened, an attack not just on you, but what I see as an attack on our entire country. They have... I joined with everyone we know that you were tough. We saw it every day on the campaign. We saw it when you were president. But I don't think anybody was prepared for what we saw that day. And now it's happened not once, but twice. You've literally taken a bullet for our country, and yet you keep fighting.
Indeed, it was only a few days after the first incident in July in Pennsylvania that Trump incorporated the assassination attempt into his campaign rallies. He started boasting about taking a bullet for democracy, and he was damn proud of it.
But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy.
Despite the fact that all indications are that both of the intended assassins were actually Republicans, not Democrats. Still, if there was only a way that they could get the Dems responsible for this, make it appear or tell your followers that they caused this. They were the ones who brought about this violence, and just how bad and evil Harris and Biden really are. Where's J.D. Vance?
Look, we can disagree with one another, we can debate one another, but we cannot tell the American people that one candidate is a fascist, and if he's elected, it is going to be the end of American democracy.
There's a bit of a problem with your theory there, J.D. Let's see what your running mate's been saying about the Democrats, about Harris.
It's a choice between communism and freedom. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. She's a Marxist, she's a fascist. Comrade Kamala Harris. Comrade Kamala Harris. If Comrade Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, you will be living a full-blown banana republic ruled by an anarchy and a tyranny. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage.
Not many people really care what J.D. Vance has to say about things. But Donald Trump does have the support of an awful lot of Republican senators. And a number of them were interviewed and gave their opinion of what they thought about the assassination attempt. I have a good article that was written for The Hill, the website The Hill, which is a great source of political information. You should all be subscribed. And I'm going to put it on screen and just run through some of the points with you. The article is entitled GOP, New Threat to Trump Will Boost His Campaign. It's written by Alexander Bolton and published on the 18th, 3 days after the second most recent assassination attempt. The article then says, Republican lawmakers think the second assassination attempt against former President Trump could give his struggling campaign a needed boost by energizing GOP voters and putting Democrats on the defensive over their warnings that his re-election represents a threat to democracy. Republican senators are reluctant to talk about Trump's latest brush with death in crass political terms, but they do predict that it will have a rallying effect within their party. I think people are going to rally to President Trump's side. He's under siege on so many fronts, said Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina. It's a Republican today. It could be a Democrat tomorrow. The system is broken. A second Republican senator who requested anonymity to discuss the political repercussions of a second assassination attempt predicted it will produce a rally around effect. The lawmaker said independent voters are likely to see Trump as a victim here. I think that casts him in a more favorable light. That's probably helpful to him. It's something that breaks through with all voters. Who cannot know about this, the senator said. It's probably significant that way, but how long will it last? I don't know. Republicans say that Trump got a big political boost after narrowly dodging an assassin's bullet in Butler, Pennsylvania in July, and some think it played into President Biden's decision to drop out of the race a week later. When Republicans gathered in Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention a few days after the first assassination attempt, they were unified in a way they hadn't been in years. The multi-day event was capped off by Trump's dramatic appearance to accept the party's nomination with a white bandage over his right ear. Also, 5 Republican senators held a press conference where one at a time they spoke to the press and they tried to explain that they were convinced that the assassination attempts against Donald Trump's life were prompted and incited by Democrats who were saying horrible things about him, like he was a threat to democracy, and that this is a really important election because democracy is at stake, and they're afraid of what Trump might do to America. Very conveniently, they ignore all the things Trump has been saying, which is considerably worse. You can see them highlighted up in the top left corner. But listen to these guys speak and think about just how closed-minded or tunnel vision they must be. Do they actually believe that, or is this just all a front and they're lying? I don't know. You tell me.
We have a huge mental health problem in this country. But when you hear on TV and the radio and on social media about this guy's a Hitler, this guy's a fascist, he's a threat to democracy, what do you expect?
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Well, it appears to be open season on presidential candidates you don't like. Last week, President Trump warned us on the debate stage about the hatred and lie being spread by the left and the mainstream media, making him a target. People realize the danger of inciting violence through their rhetoric and their irresponsible reporting. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and others have repeatedly labeled Trump a threat to democracy, fueling a very dangerous narrative.
Donald Trump nearly lost his life. This is not the first time it's happened in the last couple of months. It's the second time. This was a tragedy that fortunately was forestalled in anything less than that. It's also important to remember the sort of environment in which this sort of thing tends to thrive. When Donald Trump is repeatedly characterized by, among other people, Kamala Harris as a threat to democracy, saying things like democracy is on the line, not just good policy is on the line or my kind of government is on the line, but democracy itself is on the line. And Donald Trump is a threat to that democracy. Those things have their intended effect. When they use ad Hitlerum over and over and over again to demonize and vilify this particular presidential candidate, it's going to have an intended effect. If this person is that bad, then anything and everything is morally justified in order to stop him. So it's not lost on me, it shouldn't be lost on anyone, but that same phrase used by Kamala Harris, that, democracy is on the line in her race against Donald Trump. Well, if anyone needs to tone down the rhetoric, it's the left. It's the left that is constantly demonizing this presidential candidate. Look, if you disagree with Donald Trump's policies, fine. You disagree with decisions or statements made by Donald Trump, state them. But by demonizing him and by saying that democracy itself is on the line, by characterizing him as an existential threat to us as a country, you create the inevitable risk, the inevitable possibility at least, that some crazy person out there will take that far more seriously than they should and try to take matters into their own hands in devastating ways.
Now, needless to say, some of Trump's media partners, people who I call the crazies, the real crazies, they're all over the place, and they've come out with conspiracy theories and the suggestions that the deep state, that Biden, that Kamala Harris are somehow plotting to have Trump killed or eliminated, and that there's devious things going on. It's literal insanity, but everything from YouTube content creators to some major commentators on news networks are putting forward hints, suggestions, and even straightforward comments to that effect. So I don't know what to say. I am aghast. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a 70-year-old Canadian who's determined to make a go of YouTube, because I think we still live in a world where there is right and there is wrong. And I have thoughts and opinions I want to share with you. And I want to hear back your thoughts and opinions. And that's what this channel is all about. But I really need your help. First of all, if you haven't done so already, there's the subscribe button down there. Please hit it and subscribe to the channel. When you're watching my videos, try to see them all the way to the end. It makes a big difference. Like the videos, comment on them. I'm trying to hit a goal of 10,000 subscribers, which would justify me creating content on a daily basis so that we can more regularly go back and forth. Thanks.